quiet Yoruba village, Aade was known for his relentless pursuit of wealth. He was a man who believed that the only way to gain respect and power was through riches, no matter the cost. Despite having a loving family and a decent farm, Aade was never satisfied. He would often stare into the distance, imagining himself surrounded by gold and fine clothes. One evening, while returning from the market, Aade stumbled upon a strange figure in the dense forest. It was an Egbere, a mysterious spirit that carried a small, tattered mat and wept softly. The stories of the Egbere were well known in the village. It was said that anyone who took the Egbere's mat would gain immense wealth, but at a terrible price. Aade's greed blinded him to the warnings. He saw the opportunity to fulfill his dreams of wealth and didn't think twice. "What is a mat to a spirit like you?" Aade asked with a sly smile as he inched closer to the Egbere. The Egbere, with its sorrowful eyes, whispered, "This mat carries more than wealth. It carries the weight of sorrow. Beware, human." But Aade ignored the spirit's warning. With a sudden move, he snatched the mat from the Egbere's hands, his heart racing with excitement. The Egbere let out a wail that echoed through the forest, sending chills down Aade's spine.
"You have sealed your fate,"
the spirit cried, disappearing into the shadows. Aade hurried back to the village, clutching the mat tightly. He could hardly wait to see the riches it would bring. That night, as he spread the mat on the floor of his hut, gold coins began to appear from nowhere. They filled the room, gleaming in the dim light. Over the next few days, Aade's fortune grew beyond his wildest dreams. His once humble home became a mansion, adorned with the finest luxuries money could buy. The villagers, amazed by his sudden wealth, flocked to him for advice. He became the most powerful man in the village, but his wealth came at a cost. Strange things began to happen. It started with whispers in the night, voices that only Aade could hear, calling his name, mocking his greed. His family began to suffer as well. His wife, once strong and healthy, fell ill with a mysterious sickness that no healer could cure. His children were plagued by nightmares, waking up in terror each night, screaming about a weeping spirit that hovered over their beds. The village, too, began to change. Crops withered in the fields, and animals died without explanation. The once thriving community fell into despair. The villagers, once in awe of Aade, began to resent him. They whispered that his wealth was cursed, that he had brought ruin upon them all. Aade, blinded by his greed, refused to believe that his fortune was to blame. He continued to amass wealth, even as his family and village crumbled around him. One night, as Aade lay in his luxurious bed, he was visited by the Egbere in a dream. The spirit stood at the foot of his bed, weeping silently. "You have taken what is not yours," the Egbere said, its voice filled with sorrow. "Until you return the mat, you will know no peace." Aade awoke in a cold sweat, but he dismissed the dream as just that, a dream. He continued on his path, determined to hold onto his wealth. But the curse only grew stronger. His wife's illness worsened, and his children became distant, their eyes hollow and filled with fear. The village elders, concerned about the worsening situation, decided to confront Aade. They gathered at his mansion, demanding answers. "Aade," the chief elder began, "since you gained your wealth, our village has suffered. We believe that you have brought a curse upon us." Aade, proud and defiant, denied any wrongdoing. "My wealth is a blessing," he insisted. "The village's misfortune has nothing to do with me." But the elders were not convinced. They knew the stories of the Egbere and suspected that Aade had stolen the mat. "Return the mat to the spirit," one elder urged. "Only then can the curse be lifted." But Alawalemo refused. He could not bear the thought of losing his wealth, even as everything else fell apart. That night, the village was hit by a terrible storm. Lightning struck Aade's mansion, setting it ablaze. The fire consumed everything: his wealth, his home, his family. As the flames raged, Aade heard the wailing of the Egbere in the distance, a haunting reminder of the curse he had unleashed. In the aftermath of the fire, Aade was left with nothing. His once great fortune was reduced to ashes, and his family was gone. Desperate and broken, he sought out the Egbere in the forest, hoping to return the mat and beg for forgiveness. He wandered for days, the weight of his guilt heavy on his shoulders. The forest seemed to mock him, its shadows whispering of his greed. Finally, he found the Egbere once more, sitting beneath a tree, still clutching the mat. The spirit looked up at him with tear-filled eyes. "I have come to return what I stole," Olawalemo said, his voice trembling. "I beg for your forgiveness." The Egbere studied him for a long moment before speaking. "You sought wealth at the cost of others' suffering. You have paid the price. The curse is lifted, but your losses are permanent." With that, the Egbere took back the mat, and the curse was lifted. But Olawalemo was left with nothing. No wealth, no family, no home. He returned to the village, now a shadow of the man he once was. The villagers, though no longer cursed, shunned him, for they could not forget the suffering he had caused. Aade spent the rest of his days wandering the village, a cautionary tale of greed and its consequences, forever haunted by the memory of the Egbere's tears.
Kindly subscribe to Helen Fairy Tales YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell to watch more of this video. See you in my next video. Bye.